book lovers, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the mystery of books, or more specifically, how it is that I love certain things in books, but absolutely hate or wouldn't even tolerate in real life. Grab something to drink, I have tea with me, and tell me in the comments what is something that you love to read about but would hate in real life. And also, quick disclaimer, this is just really for fun, so don't take anything too serious, but we're here to talk about bookish things, so let's jump into the video. One thing I mentioned in multiple videos now is that I love the trope marriage of convenience or arranged marriage. It is so weird how there are so many books out there that make it seem normal and so romantic to be forced to marry someone. Think about it, how that would be in real life. I would absolutely hate that. And also the chances that you're forced to marry your soulmate is actually quite slim. But I don't know, just the ultimate forced proximity in an arranged marriage book that I just eat up so much. Yeah, you hate each other, but please live together, please sleep in the same bed, please be forced to fake date. And not even fake date, but like be fake married. It's just something, especially in like a enemies to lovers way, that I love so much. And if you have a recommendation for like a arranged marriage or marriage of convenience book, then please let me know in the comments. I'm also working on a recommendation video for that trope, so be on a lookout for that. And the second thing that I actually want in a book, and a book can make it seem so romantic, but in real life I'm convinced that it has nothing to do with romance or love, and that is the whole jealousy trope. I just love when a guy, but also the girl, is like super jealous and very possessive of their partner. And I know in real life that is rooted in a lot of insecurities, and guys, it has nothing to do with love. And I would hate if my partner would be very jealous and like tell me what to do or what to wear. Like I would not tolerate that in real life. But in a book, if the guy doesn't seem jealous, I'm like, come on, does he really love her? Which is a bit fucked up, right? Like, I want something in a romance book that I don't even truly believe in real life, but that is just the mystery of books. The incredible part about reading and about books, that something you don't want in real life, but you still enjoy in like a story, you can read about it and don't feel bad at all. And I feel like with a lot more modern romances now, they always try to balance out the jealousy part, that it doesn't come off as just an asshole and kind of I own that person, and I do like that as well, but I don't like when they kind of write down the jealousy actually, when they are more tolerant, and I'm really like, no, I want that absolute jealous guy. And don't get me wrong, I don't want them to think about like a person as like property and owning them, but there is a balance, and I think a lot of authors do that really well, where a jealousy trope just hits the right way, and I'm just so glad that they continue to give me jealousy in most of the books. So the next thing is actually the mystery that really sparked this video, because I was daydreaming and thinking about books and, you know, my favorite things, and a few books that are always on my mind, and that is, for example, A Court of Thorns and Roses. And I was thinking how much I love Feyre, and how I like, especially in a lot of fantasy books, they hunt with a bow and arrow. Hear me out. I find that super sexy somehow. I don't get that at all. And this is also a trope or narrative that I only enjoy in fantasy books. And I think in general, fantasy books give a lot more leverage to what the characters are allowed to do and we're still okay with. I wouldn't really want to read about a hunting girl in a contemporary romance. I just want to tell you guys, I'm really against like killing people or animals. I mean, I live mostly vegan anyway, so it's not something I would love in real life. I think especially the bow and arrow theme is just something in a fantasy book that really gets me, especially when the female main character does that. And we have that theme in a lot of books actually. I think maybe also in Powerless, but you also of course have Katniss from the Hunger Games, but the one that always comes to my mind really is Feyre, and just how much I love her character and how she described her hunting experience. And it's not just that you talk about it in one sentence. I'm like, no, I love the whole process, how the main character experiences it, and I think it's super weird that I enjoy that in a book but wouldn't like in real life. And please guys, give me a like right now that I know I'm not alone with all those thoughts. The next theme correlates with the hunting part as well, and that is violence. And again, especially in fantasy, I love myself a little bit of violence, a little bit of killing people, a little bit of hurting people. And again, I want to be very clear, I don't like that in real life, But in books, especially when it's a high-stake fantasy, I want that part where I'm scared that actually something could happen to the characters, to the side characters. It just gives a lot more tension to the book, and this feels so wrong to say, but I just enjoy a lot of violence there. I will say in a contemporary romance, I do like that to a certain amount. If there might be a bar fight or something like that, or someone wronged the female main character and the guy punches someone, I don't mind that. It's not that I need to have it in a romance. The thing with dark romances though is that when it becomes like really violent and the gray character leans more towards like dark gray, then I'm not the biggest fan, and then I find it harder to root for the couple and the guy. But in a romantasy book, I don't really mind if he kills a bunch of people for her. So you see, I still have boundaries when it comes to certain things, and I feel like with violence or like the hunting part, of course it's easier to like tolerate it or even enjoy that in a fantasy that is more disentangled from our real life than a contemporary romance would be. I think that's where it comes from, that I really enjoy it there, but not as much in a normal romance book. But it's still a mystery to me how a book can make me love violence when I don't even like when someone would punch someone in real life. Even if you can like justify it, I'm a person who believes in use your words and not your body strength. So there's that. After that one, let's get to a more fun part, which is not something I overly hate in real life, but I live in a big city. I always wanted to live in a big city, so I would call myself a city girl. And I don't have anything against small towns. I even think that once I'm older and a bit more settled, I would actually enjoy living more in the countryside. So I certainly don't hate small towns, but it's just not a lifestyle I see myself loving right now. But when it comes to a book and you have small town, I love the vibe of like a small community where everyone is in everyone's business, kind of like the feel of Gilmore Girls. And when I read it, I love it. But when I think about that, like noisy neighbors are like always in my business and everyone knows what's happening, that kind of sounds like my personal nightmare. And of course, the book is not a documentary of a small town, and that's exactly how it is. It is just that I know that if I would live in those small town books, I wouldn't enjoy that part, but I love to read about them. Alright, we're coming to my last mystery, and that is arrogance. I love myself a very arrogant main character, and it doesn't matter whether it's female or male. I love when they're both arrogant or either one of them. I think there's just something in that kind of confidence, how it is portrayed in books, that I absolutely love. And I won't say I always hate that in real life. I feel like arrogance can be kind of sexy. It of course depends on how the person wears that. So there are certain people who seem absolutely arrogant and kind of mean, and I hate that because I want warm people around me and kind people around me. I'm very easily intimidated by people who are very self-confident and especially arrogant, so I know I wouldn't really click with them in real life, but when you write it down in a book, I just love that, especially when the guy is cocky and arrogant. When you see the vulnerable part, then, it hits so much harder. I do love a golden retriever just like the next girl, but I also like them in real life. But with the grumpy, arrogant guys, not so much. And I think the mystery about how a book can make me love the arrogance in a person compared to real life is that you do always get the vulnerable part. You do get to see behind the person, but in real life, except you befriend that person or the person becomes your partner, you usually don't see their reasons or how they became that way. So when someone is kind of standoffish or very, very arrogant, usually they're not the people you're very much drawn to as like the warmest person. But of course in a book they're written that way, and there's always a reason or explanation that makes sense so that you still love that person. And again, I think it's just great how books can turn things around and make you love something that you wouldn't in real life. But that's why we all jump into a book, to get away from real life. And I just wanted to chat to you guys and make this a fun video, and I would love to hear about your thoughts. So comment below and also give this video a like if you maybe want to see a part 2 in the future. And I hope you guys have a good day. Subscribe for more bookish content and see you in my next video. Bye!